It's finally time that we talk about the dark truth behind record labels and how artists are basically signing their life away to these people. Record labels are really the ones with all of the power. So I'm gonna do my best to explain exactly what happens when you sign a record label deal. We're gonna talk about conspiracies about what's actually going on in these contracts. And we're also going to look at the takes on actual artists and how they explain how corrupt these record labels really are. So what really happens when you sign the contract? Well, when I said you're basically giving them your life, I meant that. Anywhere you look, they're all going to say the same thing, that when you sign a record label deal contract, you are immediately in debt, and you will be in debt for most likely a very long time. So let's say I'm an up-and-coming artist and I finally get that record deal that I've always been dreaming of. As a kid, I've been working so hard on my music. Record label tells me they love me, they think I'm gonna explode and my music is awesome. They're gonna give me a $1 million deal. You're gonna get all of that money in cash today out the door, and we are so confident in you and we respect you that we're gonna give you an 80-20 split on your music's royalties, which by the way is an insane number. Most people I think get around like 8 to 10%, something like that. I don't know. I've never been in a deal. I'm just, making a story up here. So this $1 million in cash they're gonna give me is actually a cash advance. I haven't made any money for this record label yet, but this $1 million is coming out of the money I'm about to make for them. But I have a 20% split, remember? The record label is getting 80%. So off the rip, we're in debt $1 million, but it's actually a lot worse with the 80-20 split. My music has to make $5 million so that I get my $1 million, and I have to pay that off to them, and then I can make my 20% profit off of my music. In simple words, my music has to make $5 million in order for me to be completely debt-free to them. And then I start making money off of my royalties, and I get 20% of every single song that I make, and that's my profit. Here's the issue. Will my music ever make $5 million? Now that is a scary thought. What if I never really make it big? These guys own me forever. Now, it's not that dramatic because the record label is a huge company. I mean, huge company, and they have connections with everyone. So they're probably going to be marketing me. They're probably going to be, putting me in Spotify playlists. But check this out. They're going to be taking that money out of my deal. So that just adds more and more debt. Let's say they slide some radio shows in Spotify, a couple $100,000 just so I can, get a bunch of plays and my music can blow up. Well, that's coming out of my $5 million debt that I'm technically in, and now I owe $5.5 million. It helped me, but it's just digging me a bigger hole. Let's go back to this $1 million cash I just got. Of course I'm saying yes to this deal. I've never seen money before. I've been working my whole life in my room, making music, making beats, spending every dollar I have. $1 million, are you kidding me? Record label is gonna tell me, all right, you got this money, now go make some awesome music videos. Go buy that Richard Mille watch, go buy a Rolex, go buy a Ferrari, make the coolest music video you ever can, and all the things that we see currently. For a music video, I gotta make music, and I gotta go to a really nice recording studio, and the record label is gonna refer me to one, and I'm not allowed to go to any other recording studios other than the ones that they refer to me. And you won't believe how much this recording studio costs. Some of them cost like $500 an hour. And it's no easy task to make a song. This is gonna take me weeks. This could take me months. This is coming straight out of my $5 million deal. So now I'm probably in debt almost $6 million. And then I gotta hire someone to make me beats. That's gonna cost even more money. And all the people the record label is referring to me, they got ties with these people. They're probably very good friends with them. So it all goes back to them. They're just getting stronger and stronger and richer off of me, and I'm basically at the mercy of them. What am I gonna do? I can't just say no. I signed this huge deal. It might cost me $1 million for all of this just to make the song, when I really could just go to a cheap one with the same equipment and probably spend like $50,000, $10,000, I don't know. But this is what I'm trying to get at. This is the name of the game for these record labels. You're gonna be in debt for a very long time, and they're gonna do a lot of things behind your back that you can't really say anything about because you signed that contract. Because they want you to generate as much music as you can without you getting a single dime out of it. So now we talk about a couple things. One, how are people accepting these contracts? Well, imagine that someone just offered you a briefcase of $1 million cash. How the heck are you gonna say no? Number two, the record labels are saying, dude, what are you saying? I'm taking a big risk investing into this singer. I mean, for all I know, he just generates a fraction of the money that we're looking for, and I lose that $1 million cash advance I gave him. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, Mr. Record Label, because, I mean, you guys own thousands and thousands of artists and tracks, and you have connections to the biggest music resources in the world. You're gonna find a way to get these people their income. I mean, think about it. How many hip-hop artists or just any kind of artists have you heard them and you're like, wait, how are you so famous and why is this music being played everywhere? And like I said, they're gonna put it in these radios, Spotify, Apple Music, all this stuff. They're gonna stuff it down our ears without us even being able to do anything about it. Another thing is we just love watching these music videos. Why? Because they have all of these beautiful models, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, diamonds, you know, money being thrown everywhere. And you're like, I've never even heard of this dude. How the heck does he have a Ferrari? How the heck does he have a $300,000 necklace? Oh, that guy probably used half of his cash advance from his record label deal to make that music video and to shun all of the people in the world with his fame and fortune and his success. What you don't know is that dude's got to make probably another couple $1 million to even get his money back or even own a dime to his name. And honestly, I'm sure these record labels have helped a lot of people. I'm sure there was a lot of people struggling and they got a nice big cash advance and they, you know, worked their butt off to make great music, and they have, you know, they're getting a lot of profit from the royalties and life is good for them. But I just know for a fact that it has ruined the lives of many people. It's also wasted opportunities for them where they could have, you know, marketed their own music and funded their own music by just, you know, working hard, and they could have made a lot more money without being owned by anyone. In part two of the video, let's see what famous people themselves have to say about these record labels.
Very important, because throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice. And like Mrs. Sharpton was saying, people from James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would totally go broken. And it's been, the record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
Now let me say this.
Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very devilish. This is the artist that I am at Sony. I've generated several $1 billion for Sony. Mariah Carey, after divorcing Tommy, came to me crying. She was crying so bad I had to hold her. And she said to me that this is an evil man. And Michael, this man follows me, she said. He taps her phones. And he's very evil, and she doesn't trust him. And he is a horrible human being. And we have to continue our drive until he's terminated.
Oh! There you go!
We can't allow him to do this to great artistry. We just can't.
Look this shit up.
Who takes that? The record label?
The record label, it's called points and percentages and royalties and shit that you get for the record. So, for example, if they were selling Michael Jackson record Thriller for $9.99, how much money do you really think he made off of each copy of Thriller? He made a lot of money. But what you think the record labels made? They made all the fucking money. Taylor Swift, what did she do? She remastered her album. Why? Because she couldn't get finances, so she redid her album as a way of I'll make this for my fans and they'll support me
Right.
because those are my vocals and this is my music. I should be making money off of my project when you buy it.
That artists are supposed to own their master recordings. I mean, in the future, it'll be unconscionable to even think you can take somebody's creation and claim ownership of it. See, unfortunately, this discussion is going to start to barrel into a discussion about the human genome and the DNA and all the rest of it. When it gets there, then we're going to be in the deep water. See, so it's better to start the conversation now before we get into God talk.
These are my bank statements. What can I get approved for? And they're like, this. And you're like, I'm gonna use the max. They're like, right. Okay, you're gonna pay me back. And here's the interest. And you're just paying for that house. And you're paying for the house. And you need somewhere to live, right? There has to be somewhere to live. A record label is that. They don't care about you. You're not a person. You are a product. I hate to be like that, but it sometimes it does come down to that. So if you...
I just bought this fucking car. Keyed all the way. Hit the fucking door. Wanna know why I'm doing that? Cause of mental fucking illness. All this materialistic shit don't mean shit in the world. And when they won't let you do, I'm owned. I'm a fucking slave. I'm a slave to my management. I'm a slave to everybody. I don't get control of my license. I don't get control of my bank account. I don't get control of shit. I can't even drive that fucking car. They put it in the basement so I couldn't take it. I know I don't have a license, but if I have someone with the license, I can take it. So fuck everybody. This is mental fucking illness. I don't care. Make fun of me. Make fun of me on the internet. I don't give a...
I think you guys get the point. That's probably enough examples, but you know, these record labels own the artist. They own the copyrights. They own the rights to their music. This drives the artist crazy because the record label is making so much money off of them. And you're telling me some of these artists are only getting 5% of the profits of their music? I mean, I would go crazy too. And the record labels try and make these contracts so confusing so that the artist really is confused and just sees the money and signs it. But doesn't it make you wonder what's inside of these contracts? There's gotta be some things that are just really sneaky and in fine print. And to be honest with you, I think there's some really corrupt stuff. Let me show you some more examples.
Game so bad, man. He looked like he would kill his mama to get a hit record. Rick Ross signed this guy on YouTube. And when Rick Ross signed that dude, man, as wicked as Rick Ross is, now you know Rick Ross is wicked as hell. He did not want to sign that brother. When that dude signed that contract with Rick Ross and Jewmaker hit it right on the point. He looked at that contract, man, he just shook his head. But you can see it in his eyes. He just had a look where all bets are off, like, God damn, another brother gone. You see what I'm saying? But them demons got to be fed, man. He has to do it. He has to feed the demons, meaning he got to find people who's vulnerable and dumb enough to want to sell their soul. Once you get into the sodomite world of Hollywood, you have to keep initiating.
God using us to show off, to show God is better than the devil. The devil took all the producers, the musicians, the designers, moved us all out to Hollywood, moved us all out to New York, chasing gold statues. Literally signing a contract and selling our souls. They got contracts out there that say, you can't say Jesus. When we was working on this album, people used to be coming over the studio just to say Jesus as loud as they wanted to. You can say Jesus in your studio.
I wouldn't say it's just like, oh, I'm gonna do it just because this. No, I do enjoy doing it. But yeah, I don't want to get signed to a record label or nothing like that.
Why not?
Because they be finessing folks.
How?
They be taking all your money and then you can't drop music and that's kind of what I meant. Like, they'll get you to be something you're not. Like, let's say you don't want to dress half naked. But now you got to now. You on that label?
Kanye says you can't rap about religion. Will Vicky says that if you don't want to dress half naked, well, you have to now because the record label wants you to. Rick Ross knows he has this kid selling his soul, but he has to do it because it's part of his job. And I don't think we're ever going to be able to see what's in these contracts, but it looks like there's a whole side of this that we'll never be able to see, and it's really bad. I want to end this video on a very interesting conspiracy, and many of you probably have heard of it, but this blew my mind. Now, there is absolutely no proof of this, but the way this man was talking, you could tell it is coming from his heart. This man is crazy bone, and the clips are long, so I'm gonna try and cut and edit the really important parts, but listen to this.
Secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Damn. So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. Closed door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction. Yeah. Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen. Crazy. So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there. Right. Most of them familiar faces. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. After this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable in the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. Damn. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. He told us that since our employees had become solid investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons.
I know that was long, but basically he's saying that the record labels were investors in private prisons, and this gangster rap that was trending so hard in the 90s would fill up these prisons if they kept talking about drugs, alcohol, crimes, and all of that. Now, there's no proof of this. This is just coming straight from word of mouth, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Why is every song on hip hop always about drugs, sex, violence, and all of that stuff? That kind of makes you wonder, right? I mean, I can scroll through all of the songs on YouTube and Apple Music and Spotify, and all the rap songs talk about the same thing. But like I said, there's no real proof of that, and that was really heavy. and I personally don't know if it's true, but truth is that these record labels are pushing agendas and they're not good ones. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would do anything just to read one of these contracts with some big time, artist. Is there really words that you can't say Jesus? Is there really words where if they want you in this music video half naked or showing whatever, you gotta do it? Or what about all the satanic stuff? I mean, if you watch my videos, there's a bunch of that. It's in almost every single artist. Do they have to show this satanic image? This video could truly go on for hours, but let's have a discussion in the comments. What do you guys think about all of this? What's true? What's not true?